I'm back, and I'm better than ever. Hello everyone, my name is Brax. Today we're back with Katawa Shoujo. I just took a tad bit of a break because I was worried about getting burnt out playing so much of it, but we're back. I have enough Stardew Valley videos for a while, and I'm really wanting to get through this game, not because it's bad, but because there's another game I want to play called Clinical Trial. It's also an indie game. I just really want to jump into it. It looks so interesting. It is also free, so that's insane. But yeah, check that out. Check this game out. Again, this game is free. Let's just keep going. Oh, here's a misinput. I made a promise and I'm going to keep it. Besides, Emmy is bound to rat on me if I don't show up. I keep pressing the wrong fucking button. What is going on? I think my laptop's just acting weird. But it's not all that bad. That's a neat little jingle. My morning alarm goes off and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I decided to give morning runs another shot. I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health, after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence intolerable, and I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Or I am going to try everything I can. I think I misread that. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Once again, it would appear that I'm not alone on my run. Oh yeah, her. Emmy has apparently been here for some time. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. Just when the hell did she come down here anyway? Oh, it's you. I'm surprised to see you again. Why is that? Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try. She frowned, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought. Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning. A shrug, and suddenly it appears that she's forgotten what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought. So, come on then. What? You're here to run again, right? Well, yes. So come on. I found myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling while Emmy loves the effortlessness that I find inviolable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. I know I should be patient, work toward things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. We're on the track and start on our second lap. Emmy seems to have grown impatient, keeping pace with me, and begins to pull away. This is where I gave out yesterday. Will I be able to do more? Go for it or take it easy. Is this one of those things where it'll take, will things get fucked up if I don't? I do not want to risk a heart attack. If this is one of those things where... Yeah, take it easy. I let Emmy go at her own pace, and she doesn't show mercy, pulling half a lap ahead of me in an instant. I don't blame her. I mean, it's not as if I'm really putting up any sort of a real fight out here, is it? Instead, I'm just running at a steady pace, which is what I should be doing, right? Yeah, man, little by little, every little thing helps. There's no need to go pushing my limits at this stage of the game. God, is this even worth it? No, it's not. Running fucking sucks. I try to work out a lot. I never do cardio. I should, but I just don't. As we finish the second lap, I break off again. Emmy keeps going, and it almost seems to me like she's disappointed. Well, that's stupid. I don't have anything to prove to her. Come to think of it, I've got nothing to prove to myself either. I'm just fine the way I am. And what I'm not is a runner. This was probably a bad idea. Maybe there's something else I can do instead of this. Getting up this early sucks anyways. There's gotta be some other way to keep healthy. Walking? Maybe. Nice afternoon walks. Yeah, that sounds good. Running isn't for me. Well, dude, you should still do it. That's the thing about working out, man. It's not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to feel good. You gotta do it. It's bad. It may suck in the short term, but it'll do you good in the long term. I waved to Emmy and head back to my room. I'll think of something else later. Back in my room, the first thing I see is a familiar row of medication bottles lined up on the top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed, as usual. It's annoying. I thought it was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing, gotten over it. What I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here really reminds me of that reality, and trying to fight against it just hurts. Reflecting on it is only going to do so much. I've done this before, for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my life definitely not going to be as long, if I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is life in progress. That is how I'll rationalize it. I down the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepare to head out of class early, as usual. As I step into the hallway, I notice Kenji coming around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me silently like a ninja, hiding in plain sight, I call out to him. Hey. He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh, hey man. I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it would be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decided to not point out that he is not wearing a hat. An awkward silence settles between us, and Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open slowly, releasing a creaking sound into the air that only makes the moment seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside his room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out a test date. Trying to take advantage of the opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just wanted to know when the next test day was. I'm still going to take it. I need to know how. I need to know so I know what day I can't afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. And why do you have to go out? When can you get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Nah, I don't use phones. I don't have a phone. Phones. I have no phone. Why don't you have a phone? How can you not have a phone? No phone at all? No phone? I just don't like phones. Actually, I'm scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past. Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head. Oh, where else would I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass? Unexpectedly logical. I feel very depressed now. Sensing this conversation is more or less over, Kenji opens up his door again and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm going to sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is going to start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I accidentally bought 2 because I thought the store had started selling individual AA batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair. Finally letting me go to the class. For a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces by now, though the names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Mutao finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please. Please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food. Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. But what I meant to say... I think I was supposed to be cut off. The remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Mutao deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as the hallways in the school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Hisao! I'm going to make you a one-time only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunch boxes, and the privilege of enjoying them in private with 2 bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Emmy strikes a very confident pose as though it is as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing out her chest and making a V for victory sign with her hand. Sounds delicious. What do I owe the honor of being? To what do I owe this honor of being invited? You stood there looking really lost and sad, so I thought you needed some company. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all day otherwise. I'm kidding. Sure, I'll have your lunch offer. With pleasure. Let's go to the roof. The roof? Why the roof? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if we don't get up there, she'll probably wander off. I just know that she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Is it going to be the chick with just her no arms? Ooh. Come with me. Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do you have extra lunch? Emmy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat. Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door complete with missing padlock. Oh man, I miss this. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Yep, it's her. Suddenly a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Me! Hello. Yipes, he scared me, Ren. Wait, isn't she? Yeah. Hello. Noticing that Ren is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Ren has turned her gaze toward the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts for only a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited us out for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, Does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain link fence and take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the mall, man, I miss not being able to read. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the small town's feel strikes me very strong, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only 1 short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly. I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower and to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Ren in tow and produces 1 big and 2 small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Asao, what are you waiting for? She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself in the corner of the bench and take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all 3 of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses the giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Ren, and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go. Lunch is promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks. I make it myself when I can. Conversation dies off, and I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Ren deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth, using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed by her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the short place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite, which is great because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch, trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? I think that answers my question. Yeah, never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Ren seems content to let Emmy answer this question. Someone in the housing department thought that we'd complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Complement each other? Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together and we've got all our limbs. Get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Yeah, no, it would be a hell of a struggle to hate someone while you're getting dressed. If I were in that position and I hated whoever I was helping, I'd probably put their shirt on backwards or something. Ring chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods at what I suspect is meant to be in a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies when I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. Ah, that was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with a pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow, I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Yeah, would you rather lose both your arms or lose both your legs? The answer seems pretty obvious for me. Lose both my legs. I'm a type 1 diabetic, I'm probably going to lose them anyways. But, no dude, it's just easier having arms. I can't learn to do that shit with my feet. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So, Asal, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places, for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you a lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mocked and offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature. The nerve. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Ren and I will just keep eating lunch all alone. I'm suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rendingly puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding! I was just kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay, too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Ring, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away. Ring shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head downstairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. That kinda spooked me. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slot on the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they made as they hit the trolley next to her. Oh, sorry, Yuko. I didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you? It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay at the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been for the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. But would you look at that? Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decided on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check on my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off of cafeteria food, eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave at the gate, I make a few loud stretches and try to stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. Oh my god, fucking pop-ups. My laptop is a fucking mess. After passing through rounding the corner though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards a small town below. The color of her hair, tapping of her cane is unmistakable. Walking downhill towards a small town. Don't tell me she's like on the side of the road. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head. Head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Sal? Yep, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise. Good evening. What brings you here? Once again, she gives me a small polite bow, and once again, I reply in kind before realizing that I need to do so. Hey man, it's still polite, even if she doesn't see you do it. Just going into town. You? My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost. That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me. Not lost, but worried. The two of them do seem pretty close, to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a small sigh of relief. Oh, thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reader? Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit. Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, 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 tack. With the road bereft of cars, and the students at Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. Tired? Yeah, I've been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in the spin right now. You've been plopped right in the middle of things. What the fuck just happened to the music there? For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess Yamaku's kind of different though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it though, in time. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in a flock of students she's shepherding along with Class 3 to Monaco. Not that I mind. It's nice looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. She shares the ability to make new friends. That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask her what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else. So, where in town are you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with the sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions, again. I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way. Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just going to the convenience store myself. Looks like I'll be in your care then. Then. Fuck. Thanks. Together we walk to the store, and my pace is carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our ways inside with a greeting from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here... It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she'd had this idea since I was coming here. Sure, it'd be my pleasure. I grabbed 2 well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it back up onto her right hand. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane... Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside and pinches the cuff of my uniform with her slender fingers. Is this alright? Sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it is out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customers seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily to find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for, and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Monaco follow every Friday. Alright, all that's left is the bread, and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. With a quick side trip in the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we've both paid for our food and are out the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to the full length, I accidentally kicked a can. My life is a fucking mess. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment I try to make clouds with my breath, but the summer heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my 2. You tired as well? The festival preparations. I'm tired. Have been complete chaos. Shizune breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right? I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow, that's for certain. I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way toward us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say, She, or should I say she, gets closer. I recognize her quickly. Oh, Ren? What are you doing out here so late? Ren? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Ren Tezuka, and I think that was her last name, from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated-looking expression. Something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and painful cringe. Ah, I understand. I guess Lily knows Ren too. Ren turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie, or a statue of a zombie. But slowly some symptoms of understanding seem to lighten her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Ren blinks once, very thoroughly. Hello. There is an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone to say something else. What are you doing out here this late? I was wondering about that myself too, just now. Some people asked that just before. I assume they were wondering the same. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way. She turns facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction of the other people went to, as if that was important. Then rotates back on the mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being a quiet type, Ren really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot to be said. Unsure if he's finished, I say nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are, in fact, just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Ren at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if the bull elephant grade sedatives were flowing in her veins in the place of blood. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of the sort, though. No, I don't think it's that. The other passerbys are probably just worried, though. You look really lost, the way you're standing in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case. I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for the sake of my own insanity. I decide on the latter. It seems that most of the time, it's better to not read too deeply into what Ren is babbling about. Talking with Ren is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that, except with human interaction. And even if I win, it feels like losing. Damn, it's just like Kingshi said. Even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? I push the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kingshi's anti-female propaganda getting to me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here? She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea. That sounds like progress, at least. Lily sounds as if she spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism. Yes, there is some. Definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons. The ensuing silence kills Lily's hopes all too visibly. That didn't last long. Ren's, as far as I can tell, unbased, assurances aside. What should be done? We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Ren is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she's doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Is she high? Several times in a row. Lily is oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's more familiar with Ren than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Ren is exactly why she's staying subdued. So I assume you were going somewhere, not coming back to school. Any idea where? Her eyes widening shock as she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this. Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique. No. What? Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing. It was just an educated guess. You walked the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way. Oh. She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Ren appears to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked me if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Ring shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know, maybe you should come back with us to the school? Lily interjects, just as I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face vaguely disguised that fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did, for everyone's sake. I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop. It's entirely inane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point in staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her rhythmic way, looking like a mix of a sleepwalker and a rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, tap, step, step. Apart from that and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. A quiet, quite apart from the relaxing one into town at that. So how's the mural going? We're gonna get bad luck. Never talk about the works in progress. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top is surprisingly steep. Going uphill, we slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and my breathing getting heavier. Almost there. I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say, aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes forward anyway. Is everything alright? Alright. How do you mean? The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. Yeah, dude, it's one of those things where, like, I don't know why you would not want to talk about it. Yeah, just say, I'm not in a good condition. It's alright, I need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh. Is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean, She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp, though, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought. Louis doesn't finish her sentence, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. What, she thought that was like autistic? As she furrows her brow, Louis's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty, well, I guess the best way to put it would be messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it, and spent most of the spring in a hospital. Ended up in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to a sort of realization. Wait, so the time Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I'd intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural, as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all the walk back, that I had all but forgotten she was here. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to go in a fetal position and throw up, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing is wrong. It's Friday and nothing is wrong yet. This mural, it's going to need to be finished by Sunday, so everything's alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good. Not good. So she's behind her schedule. Recalling Shizuni's exasperation at Ren's carefree attitude several days ago, I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a told you so, unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Ren keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Leave me. I'm going to need to work for a while. I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then I realize she's not one to do that kind of thing. Leave me. We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There's a churning bad feeling in my gut. Ring sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone? She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just how to say... Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Ring crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion. Melodious. Nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight, apologetic smile, as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Ren. I'm not one to blame her, at all. Lily lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hasao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I'd say, but that's probably just relief over getting rid of Ren. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. Oh, into that. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. I am actually going to call it there. Yeah, it is real good getting back into the swing of things. I fell in love with Stardew Valley for a little bit. I made that pineapple on pizza video, which sucked dick thanks to the audio. Not great at all. But hey, it's free. You play it yourself. uh, yeah, no, I'm loving it. I'm falling in love with it. I've already fallen in love with it. It's just such well written. It's funny. It's interesting. I just don't know what I can say that I haven't already said for the past few episodes. But with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to stop by watching my videos. It truly means the world to me. And yeah, may God bless you, and please have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.